everyone, and welcome back to the Adventures in Collecting YouTube channel, where we take a closer look at the toys we talk about on the show. And today I am holding two of my most anticipated figures of the year. I am holding the Infinity Saga Tony Stark and Thanos 2-pack, the brand new. This is actually my first figure that I have in this Infinity Saga packaging here. I take that back. I also do have Odin. I haven't really gotten a chance to take a look at him yet, but this is the one I'm most excited for, to be perfectly blunt. We have the gorgeous new packaging, incredible art throughout, representing all of the moments that happened in the Infinity Saga. Of course, we have the Avengers Endgame poster on the back, from which this 2-pack is from. So let's open this up, let's get these figures out, and let's take a closer look at Thanos and Iron Man. Alright, and here we have Tony and Thanos out of the package. And before we get into these two figures, which are fantastic, let's talk a little bit about the accessories that we get. So let's start with Thanos. So with Thanos, we get an alternate hand sculpt for him. So right now he has the snapping stones out hand. We get a fist with the stones in, of course the Nano Gauntlet. And I will address the elephant in the packaging here. So Thanos only comes with an arm with the Nano Gauntlet. However, you do have options, and we will get into those in just a moment. But yeah, so in the package we have the snapping finger, no stones. We have the fist hand with stones. You get a series of different head sculpts for him. So you get the armored helmet grimacing. You get a neutral head sculpt. And you get the smirk head sculpt. And then you also get an updated double-bladed axe. Great detail, great sculpt. Looks film accurate for the first time in any of the affordable releases, we'll say that. And then into Tony, the accessories that we get for him. So we get an additional head. So I currently have it removed from the neck post, which you'll see in a minute. It's a little bit of a different head swap system here for Tony, but the other head sculpt is non-damaged Tony, and it looks phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that is Robert Downey Jr., and then of course Robert Downey Jr.'s neck. And then you do, of course, get your Iron Man head. And again, with a neck joint. You'll see in a minute why that is like that. And then with Tony, you do get some new effects. So we do have his kind of nanotech blade with some really nice blue translucent plastic. We get a reissue of his shield, his nano shield. This time it is a blue energy shield. Same exact shield that was packaged with the Iron Spider 2-pack. This is just a blue translucent plastic this time. And then matching that same blue, we get two new blast effects. Our normal blast two-piece blast effects. And then we get a series of hands. So we do get, right now he has the snapping hand on, and he has a hand that can hold the bladed weapon. We get fists, and we get open hands. We get repulsor hands. And of course, like the previous release, the repulsor hands, thankfully, are on articulated posts, which is awesome. So, you know, that means that you can have him both blasting or just kind of have a hand, a neutral hand. So before we get into the actual figures themselves, let's get into a little bit of the kind of kit bashing nature here. And I'm going to start with Thanos. So let's pull Tony out for a second here. And let's start with Thanos. So, as I mentioned, Thanos does not come with a, with a non-nano gauntleted hand. However, you have a couple of options. So here is the 3-pack Marvel Studios 10 Years Thanos. This is the one that came with the light up Iron Man and Doctor Strange. And as you can see, the skin tone is a perfect match. So these are both Build-A-Figure bucks, but they are slightly different. But that's a good thing because the arms are the same ports. So one of your options, should you want to have him kind of mid-battle, and if you notice, his one arm does not have the shoulder armor piece. So, you know, just kind of keep that in mind. What you can simply do is with these is you can pull the arm off of Thanos and pull the arm off of your other Thanos. And then just like that, you have a Thanos without the Nano Gauntlet. And of course, you know, we'll remove the dusting head and we'll give him one of his other heads. Same concept goes too for the heads. So, you know, if you really like, which I personally, I love the head sculpt that came with that 3-pack. I love the mask off Grimace. So you can take that head, and it's the same size post. So you can really kit bash. If you have more than one Thanos, you can really kind of make your perfect Thanos. Now, the missing component here is I never built the armored Thanos from that particular Build-A-Figure wave. The only figures that I got from it were the MCU ones, as that is typically my collection. Neither of which were the ones that came with Thanos's right arm. So, right now, as of the recording of this video, you can go to the Hasbro Pulse eBay store, and I will put a link to it in the description below, and you can pick up Nighthawk for $15.99. And Nighthawk comes, or I should say you could pick up Thanos' arm for $15.99, and it just so happens to come with a Nighthawk figure. That arm is the other armored arm, so it will have, you know, it will have the armored regular gauntlet, like just his armor gauntlet, and we'll swap in just fine here. You know, he only wears the Nano Gauntlet for the scene in the film that this 2-pack is depicting, but he is in beat-up armor for the majority of that final sequence. So whether it's his battle with Cap or his battle with the Thor that's coming out, or Scarlet Witch, you can make a more kind of general endgame final battle Thanos by kit bashing a bunch of things together. So I really like that they didn't make any kind of unnecessary changes to the port system on this Thanos, and, you know, really kind of give you the ability to do really whatever you want with Thanos, which is fantastic. Absolutely love that. Would it have been awesome if they had just packed in, you know, an extra forearm piece, even, like not even have to pull the arm off? You know, you could just, you know, kind of port in at the elbow here. Yeah, that would have been great. Would have absolutely appreciated that. But we do have options. You are not without options. As for the kit bashing with Tony, so obviously, you know, this is Tony and his kind of final battle look there. So we have this extra head. So obviously, you know, the extra head works wonderfully on that, but it also works wonderfully on some previous Iron Man figures. So I mentioned the Iron Man from the Iron Spider 2-pack. The other head looks fab on it. Absolutely fabulous. Looks awesome. Fits nice, sits well on the neck. Because it's that Nano Gauntlet, or excuse me, that Nano suit. You know, he doesn't need to have the exposed neck all the time. You know, you can have him kind of mid-battle with Thanos, and, you know, he's getting his face peeled off and stuff. You know, it works. It absolutely works. It also, I think, works on what is my favorite Iron Man body, is the first Avengers film body. I think it works really well on there as well. Compared to the previous Tony Stark head sculpt, the one from the first 10 years, which I thought was very undersized for the figure. You know, obviously it is a night and day difference between this figure and or this head sculpt and that head sculpt. I mean, you can see just the size, the deco, the likeness. It's all it is absolutely, you know, this is a thing of the past. It was good while we had it, but very, very good upgrade here. So let's get into the actual figures themselves. We'll start with Tony. So this is the same, pretty much the same figure that we saw the last time, for the Infinity War, or the Endgame release that we had for this suit. So there's some updated deco hits on it. So we have darker silvers throughout, but the articulation is the same. So we have our nice double jointed elbows. We have our double jointed knees. We have our rockers at the ankles. The joints on mine are a little tight, so just be careful with them. We do have the same. We have no waist cut, but we do have that upper diaphragm, and he can swivel and articulate back and forward with it. The really new thing here on this figure is, aside from the paint and detail, and the snap finger, is the head. So the head is actually a two-piece system this time. So you can see the neck comes off with the head. With a little bit of effort, you can absolutely get the head off of the neck. It's just a standard ball joint in there. It's just kind of tough to grip. So, just be careful. You don't want to put too much stress on it and bust the barbell in there. So, just be gentle. So this comes off, and, if you wanted to gear him up as Iron Man, simply just clicks in there. And having that extra head piece here doesn't give you any additional articulation, really. It's just there to make a more seamless look, so that way he has the full neck. So theoretically, if you wanted to have just the head on the full Iron Man neck, you could do the same thing. You could pull this off and put the Tony head on the red neck, and have that look as well. He holds his weapons very well, as you'd expect at this point. Like, they know what they're doing. The thing that's nice too about this figure, if you have any of the previous figures, you can swap in the effect pieces. So once he kind of went with that nano tech, any of those pieces work. The reds match well enough. He doesn't have the portholes on his back to wear the big mounted back system, but these little pieces, like the red blasters, the extra the red shield, any of that nano generated stuff, the nanotech stuff, works really well with this figure. But the stuff that they give you is more than sufficient. They give you a ton of options here, so you can have him using the shield, using the little like double-bladed dagger thing. It's where this figure really kind of sings, and it is the thing that I was waiting for the most, is this head sculpt. I mean, the Robert Downey Jr. likeness is just it's perfect. I mean, there's nothing that I would change about it. There's no paint issues. There's no weird gaps in the hair where the hair is glued on. It looks great head on. It looks great on profile. I mean, this is an absolute slam dunk of an action figure, and I am so happy to finally have, after all these years, have a Tony Stark that is awesome. Yeah, that I'm proud to display. I don't have to go third party and try to get somebody to sculpt one. So amazing. Moving on to Thanos. So obviously, as I mentioned before, this is pretty much the same Build-A-Figure body that we saw with the Build-A-Figure armored Thanos, only his armor is more worn. So there are some retooling that's been done to kind of melt his chest piece and his shoulders, and some of the things on his gauntlet and his back and his belt and everything, post fight with Scarlet Witch when she kind of crushes him. And then, of course, we have the Nano Gauntlet hand. And this is the first time we have the Nano Gauntlet that's actually molded in. The one that came with the the Professor Hulk Build-A-Figure is kind of like a slide-on piece. Works a little bit differently. You know, you have to unport the hand and things like that. So, you know, this is molded on. And as you saw before, you can easily swap out the arms for additional Thanos arms. The new head sculpt here is the dusting of Thanos, which I think is done really well. I don't know if I'm going to display it like this. I probably won't. But, you know, this will definitely be good for photos. You know, those of you that have like a nice rock that you can have him sit on and look out into the distance and reflect on his failure. But the movement is all the same on this. So we do have the neck joint that goes up and down. So, you know, Thanos can look down, he can look up, he can turn his head this way and that way, and then again, no rotation this way, just based on how the figure is. And then all the other articulation is the same. So we have our single jointed elbows, we have our double jointed knees, we have our upper thigh cut, and we have our rock and swivel at the ankles. Yeah, all in all, I mean, regardless of what combination you want to display this guy in, I will definitely end up in some form or fashion of the of no Nano Gauntlet. I don't know if I want to sacrifice my other Thanos's arm. I like I said, I did order that Nighthawk from the Hasbro Pulse, the old school Hasbro toy shop, Hasbro Pulse eBay store, in order to have a armored arm for him, for the other arm. I think that really just kind of completes the figure, to be perfectly honest. But this is an awesome release. This definitely lived up to the hype. Let's see real quick before we turn around and wrap up. You know, just some other figures that you know, kind of work with these two. Obviously, I don't have the final battle Thor yet, but this is the closest we could get. This is the Build-A-Figure Bro Thor hair, or Bro Thor head with the Infinity War body, and then cap too. Our Power and Glory cap. I don't know what happened to my shield. I don't know what happened to my dirty shield. But yeah, so we have quite a set. We're nearly there with the new Thor that's coming. That's gonna be that's gonna hit the home run there for us. So let's flip this around and let's wrap it up. So as you can see, man, these live up to the hype. They were my most anticipated figures, and they're probably this is probably going to be my my figure of the year. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very challenging to top this this Tony Stark figure. And as you can see, if you have been collecting the Marvel Legends figures for a while, especially the MCU ones, you have options. You have tons of options. You can swap heads. You can swap effect pieces. You could swap arms. You could swap heads. There you have endless options. And of course, like I mentioned, the one option that is not pictured because it is not yet here, but I do have the Nighthawk Marvel Legends coming with the other Thanos arms, so that way you can have a dual armored arm Thanos. But if you don't, as you can see, that the arm from that you know, the either the 3-pack, well, really the 3-pack Thanos, because the skin tone's gonna match. If you have the Build-A-Figure de-armored Thanos, you're gonna have a very dark purple arm. I don't have that to show you, but yeah, fantastic. This is shipping currently in a case pack of 3 to a store. The street date technically on it is August 1st, so this video will air slightly before that that street date hits, but they are not register locked. So if you have a conversation with your Target you know, associates at your local store, just please ask them to bring it to the register with you. They will happily escort you in most cases to make sure that it is not reg locked. but it is not. And if you are an MCU collector, you certainly do not want to miss out on this set. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button below so that way you don't miss videos like this, where we take deeper dives into the toys that we love. While you're down there hitting that subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell icon so that way you get notifications when we post new videos. While you're liking and subscribing to things, make sure you follow us here at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter, where we're constantly posting toy news, toy photography, toy availability, toy deals, anything that we have and find that helps the community. And then, of course, the podcast. So the Adventures in Collecting podcast can be found wherever you find podcasts. Simply search for Adventures in Collecting or click on the link in the description below, and we'll take you to our website where you can find all of the things that I just mentioned. Stick around after the fade for some additional photos of these two with some of their friends, and as always, whatever it takes.